Ty, good to see you.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you. We're doing well. We've talked to Lawrence about this quite a bit, just with the roster that you guys have. There's so much depth, and you've had a lot of deep teams since you've been here. This one's definitely up there in terms of the amount of playable guys that you have. You've always done a really good job of making sure guys are bought in and keeping that communication open. Has that started already? Talking to guys, knowing like CP played 82 games last year. You got guys like Brad who are used to playing a certain type of way. Those conversations about buy-in and how important that's going to be with this group.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it, and so, when camp starts, everyone buys into what you're trying to do and what you're saying, and so we just got to get to the season and let everyone understand their roles and what we need from them every single night. And I thought our group last year, we did a good job of buying into our roles and who we were as a team, and so we got to do that same thing this year if we want to be good.
Well, I'm right there, buddy. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What were your takeaways after going through and seeing how you're about to enter the off season in terms of weaknesses and areas of improvement for the Clippers, and how do you feel like the team addressed those with the veteran additions that the team made?
Yeah, I thought Lawrence and Mark and Trent, they did a good job of just addressing some needs that we needed. Like I say, acquiring CP, who's a point guard, can make plays, can make guys better. Lopez, who's a three-point shooter, but also a great rim protector. I think John Collins with athleticism, the way he's able to, run the floor, finish at the rim, another big body that can rebound, and then, picking up Bradley, who I think is, a really good scorer, can score at all three levels, and we just got to challenge him like we've been doing all summer, just to get back to being an elite defender he's been in the past. And so our pickups have been great, and so I'm excited about this team.
Hi, good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
When you look at losing a guy like Norm, but also adding a guy like Brad specifically, not exactly the same player, different type of scores, but how do you kind of feel like you'll be able to incorporate a guy like Brad? I know Phoenix probably wasn't the best fit for him. How do you kind of feel like you can incorporate a guy like him, and how seamless do you think it could be, that transition?
Yeah, I think adding a guy like Brad is easy for our team. I think you have a guy who can run pick and roll. He can catch and shoot. He's a great cutter. Can handle the basketball, and so he does a lot of different things offensively. I think his biggest ability for us is being able to pass the ball and make plays for Zoo and guys like that when he comes off pick and roll. So I don't think it'd be hard at all just to incorporate him into what we're trying to do.
Ty, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. What is your long-term relationship with Chris Paul like? I mean, you guys go so far back because you've been around forever, he's been around forever, but what is it like to have him back now and the role that he's going to be in?
I mean, full circle. When I came here in, I think 2013, and I was doing the defense for Doc, CP, like I said, he was the best player on our team, and just being able to be around him and understand him and know him has been great. And so we've had a great relationship since then, and so to bring him back now, when he's 40 years old, it's just good to see him back, and like I said, still playing.
Who's a louder voice in the locker room, you or him?
Oh, him. I don't do a lot of talking.
Hey, good to see you.
Me too.
Justin Russo writes, what do you foresee John's role being on this team for you guys? Because Lawrence has talked about bringing in a 4 who can also sometimes play 5. What do you kind of foresee his role as for you guys?
Just versatile, a versatile big that can guard multiple positions. I think, like you said, he can play 4 and then play some backup 5 as well. And then play some backup 5 as well for us. I think if we want to go small ball 5, if you have big bodies on the floor like him, Nico, and Kawhi together, that's a pretty big unit. And so I just see him being versatile, being able to play the 4 and the 5.
Hey, Ty, Janice Carr.
How you doing?
Good. Have you told James that he doesn't have to play 79 games this season?
Yeah, I told him.
And
He's not gonna listen. He wants to play. That's a good thing. Especially nowadays. Just having a player that wants to play every night, and if he's not hurt, he's not injured, he wants to play. And so, but we do have to do it better. Do a good job of just protecting him from himself, so he's not getting worn out and worn down. And maybe we can stop some injuries that can seep in. So we just want to make sure we're doing right by James.
What's going on, Coach? Good seeing you again. BJ Matthews of the Sports Tribune. Piggybacking a little bit off of Justin's question, bringing John Collins in, put him at the 4. How much have you been thinking about bringing Kawhi now? He can play the 3 a lot more and playing at his natural position. Have you thought a lot about that in the acquisition of getting Collins this year?
Yes, I have. And then just like you said, getting a bigger traditional 4. You know, I know Nico's getting older, but just having a guy with his size and his strength, you know, a guy that can match up with a guy that gives us a lot of problems. I ain't saying no names, but at that position, that's just strong and athletic, and you know, Collins would be great for that. You know, for that matchup and what we're trying to do. So I'm excited about that.
2 more.
Hey, Coach. Eric Robinson, News Stitch Media. How do you think the veteran leadership with Harden, Hall of Fame veterans, and Chris Paul leading this team, how do you think it'll translate to the younger players?
It's already been great. You know, I think just CP being here, you know, all summer. I think James, the things he's done with the young guys over the years has been great. But CP take them to the football game, take them to the Chris Brown concert, you know, just things like that to you know, involve the young guys and, you know, bring everybody together. You know, that's what CP does. That's what leaders do. And so it's just been good, you know, just having CP back, a guy who's been here, who understands the organization, and to be able to bring the young guys along. So I think it's really good for us.
Last one.
Hey Ty, Graham Mono of the Sporting Tribune right here. Good to see you again. You know, with Zoo and Brook, is there anything that you guys have talked about? I know it's early, but with Brook and Zoo maybe playing together, and then what Brook can maybe unlock for Zoo fresh off of a career year?
I think, you know, with Zoo just not running him into the ground. I think, you know, last year I thought we played him a lot. You know, we didn't really have a backup center, you know, so we, you know, when things got tough, we always had to get Zoo back in the game. I thought he played too many minutes. You know, if you ask me, if you ask him, he didn't play enough. But for me, it's just too many minutes. So I think you give Zoo a center, a backup that's, you know, solidified in this league and brings what we need defensively, and also can spread the floor by shooting the basketball. I think it keeps Zoo fresher, and I think we can, like I said, play Brook a lot more. We don't have to really rush back to get Zoo in the game.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, players up next.